When they doubt you, you don't speak up, you don't explain, you don't try to convince anyone of anything, because explanation is for people who are unsure, and you are not unsure. You are locked in, and when they laugh at you, when they joke about your goals, when they whisper your name with sarcasm, you don't flinch, you don't slow down, you don't change direction, you tighten your focus, and you work even harder, because while they're busy watching you, you're busy building yourself. While they're distracted by comfort, entertainment, and opinions, you are sharpening your mind, strengthening your discipline, and stacking effort in silence. You understand something they don't, that silence is not weakness. Silence is preparation. Silence is dangerous. Silence is where monsters are built, and the reason most people stay average is because they can't stand being unseen. They need validation. They need likes. They need applause before the work is finished, but you don't need anyone clapping while you're bleeding. You don't need recognition while you're still struggling. This season of your life is not for announcements. It's for execution. It's for showing up when nobody is watching. It's for grinding when there's no reward yet, because the reward always comes later. People talk more than they train. They post more than they practice. They complain more than they improve. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But you're different. You decided to work while they sleep, to study while they gossip, to grow while they judge. And you know that every extra hour you put in while they're resting is distance they'll never be able to close. When they talk badly about you, you don't respond with emotion. You respond with effort. You respond by doubling down, by staying consistent, by refusing to quit. Because deep down, you know that in a few years, they will compare their lives to yours. Not out loud, but quietly, privately, scrolling through your progress, watching from a distance, and that's when it will hit them that the jokes were expensive, that comfort cost them everything, and that discipline pays you in full. So you focus on yourself, because there will always be noise. There will always be people trying to pull you down to that level, trying to distract you, trying to convince you to slow down, to relax, to be normal. But normal is dangerous. Normal is crowded. Normal is where dreams go to die, and you refuse to live there. You ignore the haters and you let your results speak, because the loudest response is success. The strongest reply is progress. Progress. And the cleanest way to silence anyone is through achievement. Who cares what they think? Who cares what they say? They are not responsible for your future. You are, so you become obsessed, not casually interested. Obsessed with improving, obsessed with growing, obsessed with becoming undeniable. And when life gets hard, when pressure shows up, when resistance hits you, you don't see it as a sign to quit. You see it as a sign that you're on the right path, because nothing worthwhile comes without resistance. You will face criticism from others and from your own mind. Doubts will creep in late at night. Negative thoughts will test you when you're tired, when progress feels slow. But you don't let those thoughts take control. You remind yourself that you've handled worse, that you're stronger than you think. And you push through. Small obstacles don't stop real progress. They reveal who's serious and who's not. And you are serious. You keep working on yourself every day. Not for applause, but for growth, not for approval, but for freedom. Building your future one disciplined decision at a time, because your success will always be the best answer to doubt. Real winners don't waste energy comparing themselves to others. They stay in their lane. They build their own road. They focus on what they can control. And when you truly lock in on yourself, you stop caring about opinions. You activate that don't care mindset, because the world doesn't care about your dreams. And if you give it the chance, it will take them from you. So you decide to stand up for yourself, to protect your vision, to grind every single day, even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when nobody understands. You might lose friends. You might miss moments. You might feel alone. But obsession demands sacrifice. And sacrifice always comes before success. You live and breathe your goals. Every action, every thought, every habit moving you closer to where you want to be. Discipline becomes your lifestyle. Pressure becomes your training. And hunger becomes your fuel. You wake up every day not satisfied, not comfortable, but hungry to improve, hungry to push harder, hungry to become more. People will doubt you, question you, laugh at you, but that's their limitation, not yours. Your job is simple. Stay focused. Keep your eyes on the prize and execute Doing things you don't like becomes your advantage. Because anyone can do what feels good, but very few can do what feels hard. Doing the work you hate when you don't want to do it builds a level of mental toughness that most people will never have. It forces you out of your comfort zone. It makes you face fear head on, and it turns discomfort into strength. Most people run from discomfort. You run toward it because you understand that pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Many people won't understand why you work this hard, why you don't slow down, why you don't just relax and enjoy life. But they don't see the bigger picture, and they don't need to. They won't reach the levels you will because they're not willing to pay the price. As you stay focused and consistent, results will start to appear. Slowly at first, quietly, and then all at once. People will still judge, still talk, still doubt, but you won't waste time trying to change their minds. Because results don't need explanations. The best revenge is massive success. And when your progress becomes undeniable, there will be nothing left to say. To reach that level, you need mental toughness, not motivation, not hype, mental toughness. The ability to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. It's easy to work when you're inspired. It's hard to work when you're tired, frustrated, or bored. But that's what champions are built. The hardest tasks make you stronger. The things you resist most offer the greatest growth. Yeah. And every time you push through resistance, you expand your capacity. You protect your focus because focus is your lifeline in a world full of notifications and distractions. At some point on this journey, you realize something powerful, that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to knock on your door and hand you the life you want. Nobody is going to feel sorry for you long enough to change your situation. And once that truth hits you, once you fully accept it, everything changes because now there are no excuses left, no one else to blame, no story to hide behind. It's just you and the work. And that's where real transformation begins. When you stop waiting and start taking full responsibility. When you understand that every result you get is tied directly to what you do consistently. Not occasionally, not when you feel like it, but every single day you stop wishing for easier conditions. And you start becoming stronger because strong people don't need perfect circumstances. They create progress in chaos. They find discipline in disorder. They move forward even when life feels heavy. And life will get heavy. There will be days when your body is tired, when your mind is foggy, when your motivation is gone, when nothing seems to be working. And those are the days that matter most. Those are the days that decide who you become, because anyone can work when they're excited, but champions work when they're exhausted. Anyone can stay positive when things are going well, but leaders stay disciplined when everything feels wrong. You will hit moments where you question your pace, where you wonder if the sacrifice is worth it, where you look around and see others having fun while you're grinding alone. And your mind will try to convince you to slow down, to take a break, to join them. But you can't forget why you started. You didn't choose this path because it was easy. You chose it because staying the same hurt more. You chose growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure. And every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you choose the work over the excuse, you strengthen something inside you that most people never develop. Mental endurance, the ability to keep going without applause, without recognition, without immediate results. And that ability is priceless because the world rewards those who can endure, not those who complain the loudest. You start to realize that being misunderstood is part of the process, that being doubted is a sign you're doing something different, something uncommon, something that threatens the comfort of others. And instead of letting that discourage you, you let it fuel you. Because you understand that if everyone agrees with your goals, they're probably too small. Greatness always looks strange in the beginning. Discipline always looks extreme to people who lack it. Obsession always looks unhealthy to people who never committed to anything in their lives. So you stop trying to fit in. You stop trying to be relatable. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You accept that this role requires separation from old habits, old routines, sometimes old relationships. Because not everyone is meant to walk with you into the future you're building. And that's not arrogance. That's alignment. You're aligning your time, your energy, and your focus with where you're going, not where you've been. You begin to respect your time more. You realize every hour wasted is an hour you don't get back. Every distraction entertained is progress delayed. So you become intentional with your morning, your nights, your schedule, your environment. You stop waking up randomly and hoping for a productive day. You wake up with purpose, with structure, with a plan. Because drifting is dangerous, drifting leads nowhere. Drifting keeps people stuck for years, wondering why nothing changes. But you plan your work and you work your plan, even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive. Because mastery is built in repetition, not excitement. You understand that consistency beats intensity every time. That small disciplined actions done daily will outperform big emotional efforts done once in a while. And that mindset separates professionals from amateurs. You stop relying on motivation because motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. Discipline keeps promises to yourself. Discipline builds trust within yourself. And once you trust yourself, once you know that when you say you're going to do something, you actually do it, your confidence changes. Not loud confidence, not fake confidence. Real confidence, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can handle hard things. And that confidence changes how you walk, how you speak, how you move through the world. People can feel it even if they don't understand it. You become understanding. You become harder to shake, harder to distract. Harder to break. Setbacks don't crush you anymore. Failures don't define you. Criticism doesn't stop you because you built an identity around effort, not outcomes. You judge yourself by how much work you put in, not by how fast results show up. And that keeps you stable, grounded, focused. While others are emotionally reacting to every small win and loss, you stay steady because you know this is a long game, a long process, a long climb, and you're built for it. You stop rushing success. You stop comparing timelines. You stop looking left and right because comparison steals focus, and focus is everything. You understand that someone else winning doesn't mean you're losing. Someone else's progress doesn't delay yours. Your only competition is the version of you that wants to quit, the version of you that wants comfort, the version of you that wants to take shortcuts. And every day you show up and do the work, you beat that version. Slowly but surely, you start to see how most people live reactively, reacting to emotions, reacting to circumstances, reacting to opinions, and you realize you don't want that life. You want a life built on intention, discipline, and purpose. So you train yourself to respond instead of react, to think before acting, to stay calm under pressure, because pressure exposes character, and you're building a character that can handle success, responsibility, and leadership. You realize that success isn't just about achieving goals. It's about who you become in the process. Because if you reach your goals without discipline, without structure, without mental strength, you won't keep them. That small disciplined actions repeated over time create massive separation. And while others chase shortcuts, hacks, and overnight success, you commit to fundamentals, to mastering the basics, to doing the boring work exceptionally well. Because boring done consistently beats exciting, done occasionally every single time. You build routines that support your goals, environments that protect your focus, habits that compound quietly, because you understand that success is not one big moment. It's thousands of small moments handled correctly. And when you start to feel tired, when exhaustion creeps in, when the grind feels endless, you remind yourself why you started, not for applause, not for attention, but for freedom, for growth, for a life where you control your time, your choices, your future. And that vision pulls you forward when motivation runs out. You don't wait to feel ready. You move while you're uncertain. You don't wait to feel confident. You build confidence through action, because confidence is not a feeling. It's a byproduct of keeping promises to yourself. And every promise you keep strengthens your self-trust, your self-respect, your belief that you can handle whatever comes next. Setbacks don't break you, they refine you. Failures don't define you, they teach you. Mistakes don't stop you, they redirect you, because you see everything as feedback. Every experience has data, every challenge has training, You don't label things as good or bad. You label them as useful. And that mindset keeps you moving forward. When others get stuck, you also learn to manage your energy, not just your time. You protect your mental space. You limit distractions. You reduce unnecessary noise, because focus is a competitive advantage in a distracted world. You choose depth over speed, quality over quantity, progress over appearance, and that discipline compounds quietly while nobody is watching until one day people start noticing. They start asking questions. You're already asking questions. They're free to say. And they start saying you're lucky, but luck had nothing to do with it. It was the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the consistency, the refusal to quit when it would have been easier to stop. You didn't arrive overnight. You built this slowly, intentionally, deliberately. And even then, you don't slow down because you understand that success is rented and the rent is due every day. You don't get complacent. You don't relax just because things are going well. You stay hungry. You stay sharp. You stay disciplined. Because the moment you get comfortable is the moment you start slipping. You keep pushing your limits, expanding your capacity, raising your standards. Because the version of you that got here is not the version that will take you further, and you're willing to let go of old identities, old habits, old mindsets that no longer serve your growth.